Picture this. Baseball, cooking, euphemisms for queerness and femininity, and celebrity chef Bobby Flay. What do all of these things have in common? They're all key components in the 2003 Disney Channel original movie, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. Follow me as we venture into the world of our protagonist, Eddie Ogden, as he tries to balance out his love of cooking with his love of America's favorite pastime. Today's film is a little bit... It's a 20-year-old DCOM, which I personally find takes... Dare I say it's misogynistic, but, in a way to teach. So, our film starts off at Eddie's first baseball game of the year. You see, Eddie's what you and me would like to call a baseball boy. You see, he loves to play ball. It's his favorite thing. His dad's even the coach of his team, He plays for the Groundhogs. Eddie, he's the all-star player of the Groundhogs. He's their best player. The rest of the team, I'm not gonna lie to you, they kinda suck. Partway through the game, a member of his team shows up. It's a little bit late, but the member of his team, she's a girl. We got girls on the baseball team this time. I don't know why this movie is as sexist as it is. Her name's Hannah. She comes in, rushing to the field, half-dressed in her cheerleading uniform, because she has to tell her mother that she's a cheerleader instead of a baseball player, because she's afraid that her mother is going to be disappointed in her because she's not interested in a more female sport or hobby. She would rather play baseball. That sounds pretty normal by today's standards. Wrap up the game. Spoiler alert, they lose. How do we celebrate? That's right. We make some Eddie dogs. We get our first of many messy cooking montages, which I'll spare you having to watch them, but I will mention them as they come up just because they're so frequent, and I understand that this is a movie about a child who loves to cook. But you know what? I don't need to see this kid go like this, peppering sauerkraut and pickled onions onto his hot dog, especially considering that one of our two best friend main characters, we got Frankie and we got DB, who, he's a little bit of a twerp, he's a little bit of a dick, actually a lot of bit of a dick. He's just chilling, he's like, hey, I've been waiting all year for one of these.
I've been waiting all year for these.
So we get back, Mom's gonna be trying to cook some stuff, she brought in the groceries, she's trying to chop some stuff up, nicks her finger, Dad passes out. Who of these two goes to the emergency room? Back in the house, the baseball boys, we got Eddie, we got Frankie, and we got DB. We're all looking at the groceries, and Eddie's just there like, okay, how about we make something? Instead of, just looking at the food that's here. And the dudes are kind of there like,
let me think, no?
But Eddie's just kind of there like, okay, yeah, let's use these foods to hopefully make more foods. And tell me why our chef prodigy to be, right? Look at what this kid is making. He's putting dragon fruit, mashed potatoes, Fruit Loops, and chicken together. And you're supposed to tell me that the entire family loves it? If they love burning a hole through their sheets at night, maybe? We got our fucking mashed potato volcano, and next, everybody's like, oh my god, boys, this food is divine.
I'm impressed. You boys have done an amazing job.
Hey, don't look at us. We had nothing to do with it. It was all Eddie.
The father, the friends, and Eddie's two older brothers, they just go in. They make fun of the poor kid.
Well, we're gonna have to start calling you Chef Eddie.
More like Eddie Crocker. At least now I know what to get you for your birthday. An apron.
They take the fact that he is a young boy who likes to cook, and they equate that to him being feminine or a girl.
Oh, come on, Mom, look! It's Edwina, the daughter you've always wanted.
Which leads me to begin my analysis of this being possibly queer-coded in the same way that a film from the same era, Cadet Kelly, was. Basically, a little girl goes to military camp, and she has a rainbow blanket that's torn up by somebody who she becomes very close friends with by the end. It's meant to be seen as like a friendship coming of age between Hilary Duff and Christy Carlson Romano. But to me, it was gay, and this kind of is too, and I'll explain that a little later. Mom, Dad, the brothers, they're home. They come back. Everybody's fine. No emergency room. Dad says, oh, men don't faint. They pass out because, you know, he's a dude.
I didn't faint. Men pass out. They don't faint.
Well, they're making fun of this kid. He literally just has a basic survival skill. I am convinced the father and the brothers could not even boil water to make a cup of noodles for themselves. This kid is out here, like, making the most basic foods, honestly, and they're just like, can you not be gay for 5 minutes? So, we go back to school. The boys are all picking electives.
Forget it. No way. I'm not taking wood shop, okay? I like having 10 fingers.
What do DB and Frankie want to get into? Computer science, because they hear that you can play video games for homework. And let me be real, that does sound pretty cool. Eddie's not into that. He wants home ec. He looks at home ec, he walks by the classroom, he looks inside, enamored, in love with the place. But you know, his friends, his family, they're all gonna make fun of him. When everybody's racing to try and get the clipboards to put their names on registration for the electives, Eddie fumbles and he has to choose between the computer science clipboard that he has in his hand or signing all of his friends up for home economics. Now, given the name of this movie, I think you can figure out what he picked.
Welcome to Home Economics.
And then all the buddies are just kind of there like,
Eddie, I cannot believe you did this.
Sorry.
Here's the deal. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, knows about this.
they make fun of the most dedicated girl in the class. Her name's Bridget. She's very sweet.
Somebody should have signed up for Get a Life 101.
She's a good character. She's very dedicated to what she does. She loves to cook. She has her eyes on the prize. She knows what she's doing.
Mrs. Hadley, I was going over the text and I have some suggestions.
Bridget, whoa.
We find out from the teacher that there's this annual cook-off.
I have entry forms for the 35th annual $1 million Scholastic Cook-Off.
Can you really win $1 million?
You're a fucking idiot.
No. That's just how much they give out in scholarships. No, it comes with a small cash prize and a scholarship to the country's preeminent culinary institute.
Pretty awesome. You know, really high stakes, guys. When class is over and it's nearly the end of school, Eddie goes back to get one of the flyers for the cook-off so that he can actually see more about it and possibly participate because, you know, he's interested. He loves to cook. Once we get home, there's another montage of him cooking. This time, he puts together eggs, a whole gallon of milk, orange juice, pepper, both black and cayenne, and then just mixes it together. I said this before. He's gonna burn a hole through his sheets. It's a matter of time. Also, good boy, Samson. I love this dog. This dog's amazing. Where were we? Eddie fills a cup with, you know, his very strange concoction.
Cook off, here we come.
Drinks it, and then rinses his entire mouth out because of course it's disgusting. Why would that be good? So instead, he makes himself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich as a palate cleanser, you know, as anybody would. And, you know, he shares it with his dog. Again, good boy, Samson. Very good boy. He has something of a eureka moment for himself. And he uses his little baseball lingo to help him make a sick cooking player. But listen, I'm not into baseball. I'm trying my best for this movie, okay?
Okay. It's clinch time and Ogden knows it. He's about to make the play of the game. Peanut butter and jelly smoothie.
But, oh no, he didn't put the lid on it or whatever. Brown gunk everywhere. The kitchen's a whole mess. It's leaking peanut butter juice. Good job, Eddie. Great going. Out of nowhere, here comes his sleeping brother, coming down the stairs, you know, half asleep. And then he just walks into the kitchen, none the wiser, picks up a soggy sandwich that I think the best I can describe it, the way that it looks, is it's a peanut butter and jelly, but it's doused in, like, the peanut butter mixture and then, like, M&M's. Then he just makes a sound of pleasure, walks away, and eats the sandwich. That's how we know there were boys in this movie. The boys are gross. We're at the next game. Let's not forget, Eddie does play ball.
You know, if you're not going to take this seriously, why should I?
I'm taking it seriously.
Eddie, whether you like it or not, you're the leader. And stop playing with your food. You're dancing around like a little girl.
The dad's complaining, saying that he's distracted, saying that Eddie needs to... He puts a lot of pressure on his son so that he can perform well because he knows as well as anybody, because he's the coach, that his son is the only good player on his team. If there's something that Eddie has in mind, he just makes sure that he can say it.
Eddie, you'd tell me if something was bothering you, right?
Yeah. No, everything's cool.
But the thing is that, of course, Eddie's not going to be able to tell his dad this. His father's one of the biggest people that's been holding him back. His father's been the one that's been forcing him to want to play ball and saying, okay, son, yeah, I know that this is where your mind is, right? You have nothing else on your mind. You want to be a professional baseball player, right, son? When in reality, Eddie's more complex than that. In class, Eddie drops in, and when he sees Bridget, they converse a little bit about their potential recipes that they're going to submit.
So, have you found your recipe yet, for the cook-off?
I'm working on it. Why do you care?
Just curious.
And then little DB walks over, and he's like, wait, so what are you doing? You guys together, or... And then the teacher walks over, and she's like...
Sounds to me like someone's really starting to take an interest in this class.
And, she's very excited because, this kid loves to cook, and he's been holding himself back, but she can see inside of him that he has the potential. That's part of the reason why I think that this movie could potentially be queer-coded. Because if there's one thing that I know is a similar experience for a lot of queer people, is that you have one specific teacher that you can get close to with a specific subject. Of course, here it's not going to be English like most people would expect it to be. But given this is a 20-year-old movie, it's home economics, a more feminine class to take. See where I'm going here? So one thing leads to another. And then we have a classic Thousands movie, food fight. Every good kids movie from the early thousands has to have a food fight. And lucky for us, this one has 2. Hell yeah. Kids have to clean up the food fight because, they're the ones who started it. Look at the damn mess they made. The principal comes in. Something else gross happens. Frankie just kind of finds this big bowl of goo.
Hey, know what's gross? This.
Because boys are boys. They all dig their fingers in the mysterious goo.
Oh!
Because they're gross and disgusting. Apparently, the one thing that isn't gross and disgusting is this goo, which Hannah says tastes like barbecue sauce. And you know what? Because I don't want to try it, I'll take her word for it.
It tastes kind of like barbecue sauce. Only better.
Eddie's just there like, I really want to recreate this sauce. Who was at this station? What was in it? Do we know any ingredients that they might have had? DB, the little prick he is, says,
Dude, get a grip. I mean, it's good, but it's just a bowl of purple sauce.
But to Eddie, it's not just sauce, because this could potentially be his recipe for the cook-off. Cut next to the kitchen, Eddie working hard as hell, got purple goo everywhere. Then he just turns to his dog, says,
Samson, we have sauce.
But you can also get lost in the sauce.
And like that, Eddie's got himself a recipe that he's going to submit for the cook-off. Hell yeah, it's go time. Except, it's not. We got the next baseball game to go to. Eddie still plays ball. At the next game, Eddie's sitting in the dugout. He's got his hand in his sauce, just eating it like it's candy. Then he goes up to bat or whatever, and then this little member on his team, he gets his little grubby mitts out, and he just sticks his little paws right in the jar.
Oliver, what are you doing?
Why would you just eat plain sauce? He goes to town on it. Why would you just eat plain sauce? The team and then Coach Dad, they all they recognize that goo.
Is that the gunk from class?
And DB is specifically pestering Eddie about it.
Did you make that?
Our girl Hannah, she comes to the rescue. She comes to save the day because she covers for Eddie.
Would you guys chill out? It's my mom's recipe she got from a magazine.
The friendship between Eddie and Hannah, it's not talked about enough. They don't mention it enough in this movie, but it's really wholesome. It's very sweet. If that's not lesbian and gay solidarity, I don't know what is, guys. With clear sung praise about his dish, about his sauce that he made. Eddie goes up to bat, he hits a home run, you know, an unheard of feat for the Ground Dogs. We win the game, baby. And now, we got another round of casual misogyny coming from Coach Dad. You know, he calls Hannah one of the guys.
Hannah, you were fantastic today. You're really one of the guys.
And then makes fun of the coach of the other team by saying that, you know him?
For all his tough talk, do you know what he does for a living? He's a nurse.
Ooh, nurse.
You know, this dude who saves lives. What if the other coach's dad, the one who's a nurse, what if he kisses boys? Ew. You know, that's what this feels like. We're just mocking people for doing stuff that isn't for their assigned gender. Which, for a movie that's 20 years old, that does make some sort of sense, but at the same time, this is a children's movie. Why are we drilling this into children's heads? I don't understand that one. Because he needs the exact measurements for his recipe.
Cooking is a science, and all of the measurements have to be precise, down to the last quarter teaspoon. That's the little one.
Eddie goes out, he has an hour to find them when he gets home. Mom comes in the door, he's mortified. Doesn't know what to tell her. He goes off on this long spiel.
It's not what you're thinking. It's not some stupid girl thing. I mean, it is mainly girls, but guys can enter too. And it comes with this cash prize and this scholarship to this amazing school. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Food Channel, but like every other person on there is a guy. So I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of this.
He doesn't want to be seen differently by everybody because, you know, he cooks. Which, okay, cool. The mom's just kind of there like, okay, so who are you yelling at about this? Eddie begs his mom to not tell his dad or his brothers about the cook-off or that he likes to cook. And the mom says,
I can't lie to your father. I really think he would understand.
No,
if
he wouldn't. And you know he wouldn't.
Well, maybe he would. Okay, maybe he wouldn't.
Sounds kind of gay to me. Like, I understand the topic at hand, of course. But at the same time, it's like, kind of gay. We flash between home ec class and a couple of baseball games, and Hannah and Eddie are pretty much masking their non-conforming hobbies to their families and their parents. And back at school, guys, we found out who are the finalists in the cook-off.
Bridget, you are in the finals.
Oh my gosh,
The other finalist is Eddie Ogden.
Yes!
He finds out, and then he's like really hyped, and then after class, he's with DB and Frankie. DB's absolutely pissed about it.
Wait, DB, come on, don't be mad. I'm sorry, it was just a joke. I thought it would be funny.
Jokes usually are funnier when you share them with your friends.
I know, I should have told you. I just thought that you would think it was stupid.
Yeah, good guess. I do think it's stupid.
He's like, hey, why would you do this? You're dumb, and it's for girls. And Frankie's like, hey, he likes to cook. Back off.
He likes it. Come on, this is stupid.
Because of the way that DB responded, Eddie's in a panic about the way that his dad's gonna respond when he gets home.
Hey, I'm home. Edwina's home!
His brothers have beat him to it. They've got the mail, and they're calling him Little Edwina. Their loving nickname for their feminine little brother. What the fuck? The dad comes out, he comes downstairs, and he's like,
Your home ec teacher called to share in our excitement.
You don't look very excited.
Oh, really? Because nothing excites me more than having my son lie to me and sneak around behind my back.
The dad's mad that Eddie lied to him, and he feels like Eddie keeps on keeping things secret. And then when the mom comes home, she knows about the cook-off, and then the dad's even more mad that Eddie went to her and not him about it.
Obviously, this isn't coming as a big surprise to you.
No.
Eddie, is there some reason you told your mother and not me?
I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I guess I was just afraid.
All of this could have been resolved if Eddie knew how to speak. If he knew how to stick up for himself and say, hey, Dad, can I cook dinner tonight? Any father would be cool with their son cooking dinner. Are you kidding me? But yeah, hey, yo, son, after the game, you want to make some of them Eddie dogs? You don't know how to cook, Dad? Have fun starving while I'm over here eating Eddie dogs and Fruit Loop chicken legs. Are you kidding me? We get a moment between Hannah and Eddie at their lockers.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Want me to take him out?
No, really, I'm okay, but thanks for the offer.
There's a whole montage of the school poking fun at this poor kid because he loves home economics.
Hey, Eddie. Wanna try out?
Which, if this happened today, first of all, I can't think of a single school that has a home economics program still. I can't. Like, my middle school had the home ec room. We just never had the stuff for it. So, I can't imagine that a kid would be made fun of for it. It would be cool to cook. That's a free class. The home ec teacher, she embarrasses the hell out of our poor Eddie. Brings them into the home ec room. There's Bridget in there. And to prepare them for the cook-off, they have to learn all these different methods for cutting, for slicing, for doing whatever they can to cook. He has to know what he's doing to be able to make it in this competition. He can't just make some purple goo and go along with it. You know? He can't even crack an egg, for God's sake.
Oh, smooth.
So if he's going to win the competition, he has to learn how to cook the right way. He has to learn how to cook like a man. Towards the beginning, when he's just about to start getting to work, learning how to julienne and slice and dice and whatnot, DB comes in. He's like, hey, ready to go?
Hey. Coming?
I've got some work to do.
You said it, brother.
Whatever.
So he chooses a passion of his over that little conniving twerp. Next, we're at another game, and because of how much is going on with Eddie and his mental health, they lose the game. And that little dickhead DB, he just goes to Eddie and he's like,
Guess I was just getting used to winning.
Are you blaming me?
maybe, and if this is controversial, tell me. If you're interested in winning a game, you should know how to play that game. DB says it's weird, and then there's this particular scene.
It's weird.
What's weird?
It's weird that you'd rather bake cakes than play baseball. It's weird that you'd rather read a cookbook than a comic book. It's just weird.
DB talks about choosing a cookbook over a comic book. Eddie gets mad over this, and rightfully so, because what he's doing isn't hurting. He's cooking. He's cooking. He could be cooking meth. He's cooking dinner. The next game, Eddie shows up quite late. He's like, they're a third of the way through the game, and Eddie just then shows up.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I didn't know souffle takes over an hour to bake.
Even Coach Dad is not... Oh, do you see him? I still don't have a name for him, but... he's so cute. So the father, he's not because he's the coach, he's not going to put up with his son, his all-star, missing the game.
Oh, come on, Dad, put me in. There's 2 outs.
You missed 3 innings. You're out of the game.
He doesn't let him play, which is a single point that the father makes that I agree with. It sucks for Eddie because he's the only kid on the team that can play, but at the same time, if you miss most of the game, or at least a good chunk of it, you shouldn't be allowed to play either way. The next day at lunch, Eddie is heckled by this jock who's sitting at a lunch table surrounded by these cheerleaders.
Hey, it's the Hogs. The only team with their own chef.
That's kind of cool, having your own chef. That means that you got money. After he was heckled by the jock, DB brings up the fact that, what are you going to do on the 15th when the 15th comes around?
So, what are you going to do on the 15th?
What?
The 15th? If we make it to the playoffs, that's the day we play the Eagles.
And it's also the day of your cook-off.
That date in question is the day where he has both the big playoff game and his cook-off. So, the plot thickens. Of course, because we're in the cafeteria, and I've mentioned this before, this leads to another food fight.
Why don't you go sit with the girls? Swap recipes. Here's my applesauce. Maybe you can bake a cake out of it or something.
Or something.
So, we got Eddie and DB hurling insults at each other, wrestling each other, throwing hands right after DB pelts him with some applesauce.
You're just mad because you couldn't win a baseball game by yourself if your life depended on it.
But I'd rather win like a man than cook like a girl.
Come on, the teammate. Not anymore. I quit.
Eddie, no shit.
Eddie quits the team just out of nowhere. Anyways, DB, he starts that annoying food fight because he's an annoying little dickhead. We don't like him. I don't like DB's character. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I understand exactly who this kid is because of how, the character is written. He's a little 12, 13-year-old asshole. We've all known one of them. He's a prick. He's a child that's a prick. And I know that it's a character in a movie. I just don't like this character because I wouldn't like him as a person. So, Eddie's a little pissed off at his next home ec study session or lesson, practice, club meet. I don't know what would you call it?
Is that applesauce in your hair?
Yeah, I'm baking a cake later.
Eddie's there, and he's pissed off, and he rants to the teacher about everything that's going on in his life.
I hate not having any friends. I hate that my dad can barely look at me. I hate that my brothers tease me. I hate that everybody makes fun of me because of this stupid cook-off. And more than anything, I hate chopping up vegetables.
He wants to be able to cook, and he wants to play ball, but he has no friends, and he doesn't feel like he fits in anymore because he's doing something that he likes, but he's being outcast for it. So, when he does that, he quits the cook-off as well. And then, the teacher, she murders poor Bridget.
Do you think that's why everybody makes fun of me? Because I love to cook?
No. Oh, no. There are plenty of other reasons.
The whole team at the next Groundhogs game, they start catching wind of how sexist the dad is because a second female member of the baseball team come out. Her name's Kimberly. The dad, I'm going to be honest here, he kind of reminds me of that kid from The Sandlot, where it's like, you play ball like a girl! Like that. The other girl on the team, she does not hold back.
The Cougar third baseman, he can catch anything, but he throws like a real girl. He can barely get it to first half the
I throw like a girl.
What?
I throw like a girl because I am a girl. Hannah throws like a girl, too. She's just good at it.
Kimberly, that's not what I meant.
Why is it a compliment every time you say I run like a boy, but an insult when you say I run like a girl? Can I just be a good runner or a bad runner?
And you remember the kid that had his grubby mitts all on Eddie's sauce earlier?
My dad's a nurse.
What?
You made fun of the Eagles coach for being a nurse.
Oliver, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any.
He saves people's lives.
Stand up for yourself, kiddo. Good on ya. Personally, I would say that this is something of a turning point in the movie, considering the fact that we actually start to see the sexism in it unfold and be seen as something that isn't the joke and is rather the problem here. That you got to change the people's minds around it. The biggest people here that are the sexists that are stuck in their ways. We have Eddie's dad, and then we have that little twerp DB, and that everybody else is either, you could say that the brothers as well, because they are dicks to him, but at the same time, I can kind of chalk that up to just being an asshole older brother in a Disney movie. That's kind of run-of-the-mill with this kind of stuff. You either get the awesome, super dope older brother who's the overachiever, or you get the one who will throw you off a cliff. Slowly but surely, our misogynistic characters are trying to see the error of their ways, but there's still another half hour left to the movie, so there's still a little bit more growth that we have to see. But there is growth there already. In comes Eddie, and he's ready to win himself a ball game. He is ready. He has his eyes on the prize, he knows what he's doing, he's gonna get himself to the playoffs, bro. All Eddie has to do is win this one game, and then it's against the Eagles in the playoffs, and if they win that one, then I don't know what that means. Is that the World Championship? Is that the World Cup? So, Groundhogs win, we're all cheering for Eddie, and next we know, we're at the house having a pizza party.
Don't worry, boys and girls, reinforcements have arrived.
I guess there's no Eddie dogs this afternoon. Maybe, we ran out of sauerkraut, or, dignity. There's a knock on the door, and in comes the home ec teacher dropping by.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry, I was expecting the pizza guy.
The party's over, we're not celebrating anymore. It's just Eddie, his mom, and his dad in the living room with his home ec teacher.
You need to be at that cook-off tomorrow.
Oh, I can't.
Why?
The Groundhogs are in the playoffs.
Even though Bridget will be there, her other star student, she's more by the book. She's not as creative as Eddie is. Bridget she doesn't have the creative chef's mind that Eddie does, and she wants Eddie to be able to see that, and especially she wants his parents to see that.
You see, I'm sorry for all this, but it's just that Eddie, he has so much potential, and I want him to think long-term, and I know I shouldn't push.
No, but sometimes you have to.
And is like, well, if I know anything about my son, he's going to be at that playoffs game. My son, he wants to be a major league sports ball player. I'm so proud of my little son. Most definitely, the home ec teacher, she sees Eddie's potential in doing different things in life, especially not just baseball, but she sees his potential to be something great when it comes to being a chef. He can cook. The kid does have the mind for it. It's just that the stuff that he makes when he's starting out, when he's learning how to cook, nasty. It's gross. We're almost to the cook-off in the playoffs, but we still have one more cooking montage, where this time, Eddie's making an eggplant parm at like 3 a.m.
Another home run for Ogden? I think it is. It's high and long against the back fence, and it's good.
And his dad comes downstairs and he just watches from the top of the stairs, and he just looks down and he sees Eddie, who's looking at his torn up certificate that his brother's ripped, and a picture of his baseball team, and he's trying to figure out which he's going to go with. The dad doesn't say anything. I'm so sorry. The dad doesn't say anything at all. He just kind of goes back to bed afterwards. I mean, if my son went to all the effort to make an eggplant parm at 2 a.m., the least I would do is go out and cut myself some. Even if it's 2 a.m., it's eggplant parm. It's the day of the big game, and it's the day of the cook-off. So we've got a lot going on today. Okay, so Eddie shows up to the cook-off in his baseball uniform because he's just there to look. He's not gonna compete in the thing. He's just there to see what he's gonna miss out on, see what the actual festivities are like, you know, the whole shebang. When he gets to the cooking stations in this auditorium where everybody's gonna be cooking, he gets to his own cooking station, and then he meets none other than celebrity chef Bobby Flay.
Eddie Ogden.
Yeah.
Welcome, but you better hustle and get yourself set up here.
Who's, I suppose, just kind of like the MC, kind of like the host for the day, for the cook-off, which I guess makes sense, but why would it be Bobby Flay in this random little town? Whatever. Eddie explains to Bobby Flay that he has this big game and that he's not going to be able to cook and that, you know, he wants to, but...
Oh, I've got a game. It's kind of hard to explain. You know, people are counting on me and my dad is...
I think I get it. Well, good luck. You'll be missed.
He can't. He has a big game. He has other priorities. And now, let me tell you, this is where our story starts to pick up. This is where it starts getting good, guys. I swear, this movie, it sticks out in my brain for how awful it is, but the last half hour or so, the last 20 minutes, I think make for some good cinema. Eddie makes it back to the game. He's running a little late. We get a conversation between the mom and the dad.
I don't know where he is. Why are you blaming me?
I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know. I don't know who he is anymore. He doesn't tell me anything.
He doesn't tell you, or he's telling you things you just don't want to hear.
Basically, the dad is like, I don't know who my son is anymore. He doesn't tell me anything, and the mom's like, is he telling you things, or is he just telling you stuff that you don't want to hear? That kind of could be a potentially queer-coded conversation there about your son potentially being queer. So, we got Groundhogs versus Eagles. Eddie Ogden, star player, starting off strong. We're beating the fucking Eagles. We got this. The other team, they try to tease Eddie about his cook-off and everything. This dude hits a home run on their asses.
It isn't little Eddie Crocker. I thought you had cupcakes to bake.
Gee, you know, I'd love to sit around and compare recipes, but I've got some bases to learn.
He got it. He's a star. He comes back swinging. Literally. I love this kid. Frankie, he has this little TV that is in the dugout with him, and he's watching the cook-off, and we find out the contestants need to use specific ingredients in their dishes.
And they also must use all 4 of today's secret ingredients. Chocolate, chicken, lemons, and check this out. Red hot chili peppers.
Now for me, that kind of just sounds like you're gonna have like a lemon chicken and like a spicy hot cocoa moment. That's where you would go, right? That's where my mind puts me. That would be good. Frankie doesn't help at all by having that TV on. It's just throwing Eddie off his game. He's distracted, he knows that there's a cook-off that he should be competing in, but he's not there. They end up falling behind the Eagles. Things look bad because, this team, they've been doing decently well all season compared to how they performed previously, but their star player doesn't have his head in the game. So how are they going to be able to win the game now? They go back to the dugout, and everybody's like, okay, so, what's up with Eddie? He's not on his game. He sucks right now.
What's wrong with Eddie? We've never seen him play this bad.
Frankie's still playing the cook-off on that little TV, and DB tells him that he needs to stop repeatedly.
And turn that off. I don't think your cook-off play-by-plays are helping.
Well, I don't think you making him choose between cooking and having friends is helping either, DB.
Because it's going to keep on messing with Eddie, and here comes a fight, and we get an excellent comeback from our girl Hannah.
Eddie's here because he wants to be here. Because he wants to beat the Eagles.
Is that why you're here?
No, I'm here because I love baseball. Yeah, kind of like Eddie and cooking, huh?
She's got a point.
After Hannah humiliates DB in front of all of his friends, for whatever reason, this leads to him having his eyes opened. He has a change of heart right there in the bottom of the 4th inning. So that's great for him.
Hey, Ogden! Why is it always up to you?
What?
Eddie hit a home run. Eddie made the play. Eddie save us. Why don't you let us do it for a change? So go. You go do what you have to do. Let us do what we have to do.
I can admit, even though I really dislike the character of DB, I do like the change of heart that he has. It is him coming around. DB does come around to his friend. He can get over the fact that he thinks that it's weird or whatever for his friend to be a little bit girly, but he can work past that. And you know what? For 20 years ago, that kind of sounds like a friend being okay with his friend being gay. Maybe that's just me seeing a euphemism somewhere where it shouldn't be, but I digress. Our girl Kimberly, the one who completely owned the dad earlier, she gets a home run. We love this little dork. The Groundhogs are back in the game, baby. Because he got a little bit of a late start, Eddie, he has to rush to be in the cook-off.
Welcome back, Eddie, but we can't give you any more time. There's only an hour and 3 minutes left. I can do it.
That's it. Almost a full hour less than everybody else that's there. Things are looking okay for the Groundhogs back on the baseball diamond or whatever it's called. So, our girl Hannah, she's up to bat, but the thing is that her mom swings by.
Mom, I'm not a cheerleader. I've never been a cheerleader, nor will I ever be one. But I am one of the best shortstops in the league. And a decent batter when I remember to keep my elbow up. You can rant and scream all you want, but it's gonna have to wait till after I bat. Well, then you'll probably need this. My batting glove? I found it in your jeans this morning. Hannah, honey, I'm only disappointed that you thought that I wouldn't support you.
Hannah explains to her mother that she was lying about being a cheerleader the whole time, that she was really playing baseball, and that she's really good at it. She has to get the game done. The mom understands, is in a way the foil to Eddie's father, because of how accepting she is right off the bat that her daughter was doing this. And that she understood, she just wishes that she'd been honest from the start. That is, in theory, the exact opposite of the father's approach here. Her daughter thought that she was going to be more like Eddie's father, where he was unsupportive and he was closed off and he was more focused on him fulfilling one hobby rather than him exploring everything that was available to him and seeing everything that he's interested in. Also, the mother is really sweet because in some scenes you could just, Hannah's missing the ball completely, but she's still cheering for her daughter.
Yeah, that's the way to play! Wait for your pitch!
And then Coach Dad watches from the sidelines. He pesters the ref.
One more word out of you and you're out of this game.
Oh, yeah?
I dare ya! That's 3! You're out of here!
No problem.
So, at the cook-off, Eddie's completely shocked by his dad being there.
Dad, what are you doing here?
Well, I figure this means so much to you that I must be missing something. So maybe you can show me why it's so important to you.
He welcomes the help from his dad, though. He's completely happy with it, because you know what? Even though his father wasn't on his side before, he's on his side now, and that's what matters. He's getting the support when he needs it the most. When he's in the middle of the actual task at hand. When he's in the competition, when he's in the game. Which, honestly, with a coach father, that might be better than having the support beforehand, because the father's more well equipped to deal with a situation like that, being a baseball coach. Even Eddie's prick older brothers are there, the ones that were making fun of him in the beginning of the movie for making dinner when their mother and their father went to the hospital.
Dad, get the lemon custard out of the fridge.
We get a sick pitch. We get some sick baseball moves because we get a thrown lemon so that Eddie can be able to get the lemon zest in his dish.
You don't have lemons. Suppose that's something with lemons.
Eddie gets every single ingredient required just as the clock is running out. We're almost at the winner of our cook-off right now. And we're almost also at the winner of the playoffs, which, you know, I'm on the edge of my seat, personally, and I've already seen the movie. The judges are going through, they're tasting all the dishes, and they decide that the winner of the $1 Million Cook-Off is none other than Bridget Simmons, which is unfortunate because her name is Bridget Simons. She wins the very second that the Groundhogs win the playoffs against the Eagles. DB, the resident twerp of the team, the one who was nothing but a dick to Eddie before, he won the game for them. He had a little bit of character growth towards the end. He became not as much of a dick. Eddie's upset that he lost. He's, on the verge of tears. He's really upset because, he had been looking forward to this. He put everything that he had into it. He risked losing all of his friends for the cook-off. Back with Eddie and his dad, though. His dad kind of uses the same baseball lingo that Eddie was using before when he was cooking.
Come on, sport. You gave it your best shot.
Alright, so I'll meet you at that.
Yeah, but I struck out.
You didn't strike out. Bridget just hit it out of the park.
Either way, I lost.
Hey, Eddie, come on. What a game, huh? This wasn't about you winning. It was about you doing something that you love. And you know what? You're really good at it.
He's using it to be able to relate to his son in the sense where it's he can only feel his emotions through sports because that's how most men are and especially were. You're not trying to compromise your masculinity by showing emotions, but when it comes to sports, you absolutely can, because sports are a highly emotional thing and something that a lot of men immerse themselves into because that's their real, true form of escape, and that's my hot take of the episode. Dad, he finally comes around to the fact that his son loves to cook and that he appreciates the fact that his son loves what he does and that he can put as much love into baseball as he does into cooking.
Just remember, win or lose, I'm always on your team.
And the team, they come into the building, they come into the room where they had the cook-off, and they're all just cheering for him, they're lifting him up. It's kind of like if he was the MVP, except, it's a cook-off. Frankie walks over to Bobby Flay, and he's just kind of there like...
Hey, you, big-time chef guy.
Yeah?
Everybody says you know everything about food. Well, here's something that you don't know. Eddie Ogden is the best cook in this whole dumb cook-off, and you know it.
Hey, no arguments here.
So then Frankie's like, why didn't Eddie win then if he's the best? And then it just pans over to Eddie with Bobby saying,
check him out. Come on, check him out. He looks like a winner to me.
It wouldn't be Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off if we didn't stop for a bite to eat before the end to celebrate. You want to know what we're gonna go and grab?
Eddie Dogs?
And that's Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off. This particular movie's been in the back of my mind. In some parts, I can really easily draw parallels to other DCOM movies of the time. The one that sticks out the most to me, of course, is Cadet Kelly, which I regard as easily one of the best Disney Channel original movies of all time. I can draw the parallel with, say, Cadet Kelly, because it was hidden underneath the mask of the military, which, don't ask, don't tell, with just trying to hide your innermost feelings inside, but they do come out either way. Whereas with this film specifically, Eddie was trying to hide who he was. He was trying to hide significant interest that he had because the people that he knew gave him shit for it. Which could very simply chalk up to it being about a dude who really likes cooking, but really, would that elicit such a response? Thanks for watching. I'll be putting out new content as much as possible. I do have a lot of ideas going, and if there's any more out there, I'm absolutely willing to take them. I've been trying to get back into the swing of things, and I figured the best way to do it is with a baseball-themed Disney Channel original movie. Talk to you later. See you later. Bye.